In Repent Your Sin news.
Oh, God.
Repent your sins.
Submitted by Sugar Tits.
What is a sugar tit? I heard it so many times.
Hey, Sugar Tits.
It's a Chinese pastry.
Has a little jujube on top. A preacher is facing murder charges after killing his wife to avoid the shame of divorcing her.
What the fuck?
Oh, that makes logical
Would you
sense.
rather have the shame of murder than divorce?
Depends on your priorities, I guess.
In the Lord's eyes, divorce is acceptable if the woman is pulling you away from Jesus Christ himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You sounded like
I didn't know divorce was okay in Christianity.
Yeah, is it Catholic or is it
I just know
Christianity?
Christianity. I'm not Catholic, so I know Christian. Like, if the divorce is, like, the reason for it is because whoever the spouse is pulling you away from Christ, whatever that reason. Yeah, I mean, you have to go through counseling.
That's a great excuse.
The wife keeps wanting to have sex during church times.
Then you could just get an annulment, and it doesn't exist ever.
Oh.
Yeah, what is annulment thing? Like how? What?
So a divorce is like on record that you guys were together, and annulment means it's dissipated. It never existed.
But then, isn't there like a certain amount of time that?
a year,
Do the annulment?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh.
Probably maybe in the first year or some shit.
I think. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm not sure how long this couple was married for, but this dude, his name is Steven. He's 44 years old.
Scuba Steve.
He has been charged with premeditated first-degree murder after his wife Amy was found dead in 2016, lying on her bedroom floor in a pool of her blood with a gunshot wound on the right side of her head. He tried to make it look like it was a suicide.
Ballistics, bitch.
Yeah, there was no gunpowder in her hand. She was right-handed, but the gun was found near her left hand.
I'm glad he's stupid.
This is stupid. Pastor Steve is stupid.
Very stupid, because then they did forensics tests and they saw like footprints that were that bloody footprints that were cleaned off.
And they were pastor shoes too.
What are pastor shoes?
They have crosses on the bottom.
They're like Dr. Scholl's grandpa
They
walking
serve like
shoes.
an orthopedic purpose.
Yeah, but they gotta stand for a while.
yeah. I know exactly. They're kind of like round on the tip, right?
But then it's also a nice leather so you can wear with slacks.
I've tried on those shoes like that before. Holy shit, they're comfortable.
Holy shit.
Also at the restaurant supply store.
I kind of want one now.
Dude, I went to Kohl's
Don't say that. I'm gonna buy them for you for your birthday.
I dare you.
just to like to find shoes for a costume, and there's like these perfect shoes, and they're like super comfy. What is it? Orthopedic, whatever the fuck. They were so fucking comfortable,
I need to
dude.
get some.
It was amazing.
But
it was like $80, and I'm not doing that shit for a fucking costume.
Probably looks ugly as fuck too.
It was not too bad.
I want to wear all the every single item of clothing that says "Please don't fuck me."
well, you got the fanny pack.
Oh yeah.
And fanny pack.
Gina, thank you.
Birkenstocks are dope. Eat it. Ow.
I hate Birkenstocks.
Gina.
There you go. I got him the perfect fanny pack for him.
Yeah, what else do you need?
I need those sandals that are also like they're not Crocs, but they're kind of like the woven sandals that are.
Oh, the Moses sandals.
No, but then they're like kind of geeky, like all Velcro and.
Oh yeah.
As soon as you said Velcro,
You got straps around the ankles in case you have to run.
around the ankles for extra support.
you can't have a pair of those.
Yeah, they're surfer shoes, but if you wear them properly, but the way he wants to.
No, I'm talking about the one where it looks like a basket on this side,
Oh, I have no
and
idea.
then there's a
basket?
Velcro here and a Velcro here.
Oh
around the
yeah,
ankle.
I know exactly
You
what
know
you're
what I'm
talking about. Yeah. They're almost like the
it's
hiking sandals almost.
hiking sandals.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Oh!
And with white
Yeah,
socks,
yeah.
with white tube socks.
yeah.
So I said the Moses sandals. That's called those the Moses sandals.
No, but it has
Those
to
are
look.
leather.
But it has to look techie, because the leather one's kind of cool.
Yeah, those are dope.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, dude, we gotta get you a roller bag, dude.
Yeah.
Roller bag?
And then you
Yep.
have to wear the denim long shorts with a belt, a tight belt, and then tuck your t-shirt into it.
A polo
Or
shirt.
a polo shirt with
Polo
two
shorts.
with two buttons that I
Yeah,
button
yeah.
to the top.
I'd be real though, I would probably have a roller bag if it didn't make so much noise so people could whoop my ass.
We're not surprised though. Don't say it like we'd be like,
Oh, really?
you fucking have an element, bro.
What's wrong with an element? I'll have you know this. You know how dope elements are? You know how dope they are?
I know how.
If you try to buy an element, you can't even find it because everybody's trying to keep it. That's how dope it is.
Or it broke down. People are like, I don't want anyone to know I had it.
They are Hondas. They never break down.
Hondas are invincible.
Exactly.
They're the Nokias of the car world.
In your fucking face.
I want to see how much pussy was received in a fucking
A
outfit.
lot.
0.
You want to bet? A lot, because the seats fold backwards and there's a lot of trunk space where you can put a bed there. So yes, the most comfortable car fucking on earth.
Honda, this is your spokesman right here.
Yeah, give it to him. He deserves it.
No idea how dope Elements are. Now I understand that my Element so far has had to go to the shop 7 times.
Never mind, Honda. I'm so sorry.
But it's an old car.
Yeah, and the only reason why is because the person who fixed it before thought they did a great job. They did a terrible job.
It's fucking duct tape and rocks.
All brand new parts, but they're all wrong, dumbass.
Oh, it's not the car's fault.
The mechanic was like, hey, he's like, so here's the good news. You have new parts. Here's the bad news. They're all wrong. You fuck.
All right, so what happened? So this guy got charged?
So they found out that it was him because this fool, he's not that smart. So he went on the dark web.
What kind of pastor knows how to go on the dark web?
The kind that fucking touches kids.
And I will say this, he's a little bit weird because I believe, if I remember correctly, murder is also a really bad sin.
Right? Yeah, so he didn't want to be married anymore, but he didn't want to face that shame in the church because he became some sort of elder in the church, so he could not get divorced. That's why he went to the dark web to see if he could hire someone to kill his wife for him. He negotiated a $6,000 fee.
That's it?
With this one, they're calling it Besa Mafia.
Bésame.
Besa Mafia.
Besa Mafia.
Later on down the line, Besa Mafia was hacked and its customer list was exposed to the FBI, so that's how they were able to link it that it was the pastor that wanted Amy dead. Because the pastor's username on the dark web was Dog Day God.
It was pastor at blah 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 church.
That fool on the dark web, he was thinking about so many different usernames. He's like, man, this one's not, is this one taken? Got it. You know what I mean? Because that's too creative for it to be like just a regular username. You
Dark Day God.
Dog Day God. All one word.
You can't think of a fucking different name that doesn't give away your fucking
Profession.
Yeah.
really big black man, 87.
How
Satan's
did they
dick
link
6'9".
that one?
So they linked it
Tiny,
because...
tiny Asian, 42.
I thought that when you go to the dark web, you hide your IP and all that stuff.
Yeah, but he made the fatal mistake of leaving a unique 35-karat Bitcoin code on his iPhone that was later matched against the same transaction that he paid Besa Mafia.
Damn, he's got Bitcoin?
And this guy's old.
44.
Oh.
But this Besa Mafia group, they were pretty much scamming the dude because they kept telling him, like, oh, we attempted the murder this time and place, but for this reason, we couldn't kill her, so you need to pay us more. And so they kept trying to, like, fish out more money out of him.
Smart.
So finally, he was like, okay, fuck that. I'm not going with them anymore. So then now with the FBI, or what the police is saying, that he might have just taken matters into his own hands and set it up to look like a suicide because he was the one that called 911 later on that night when he discovered her, and he was just like voice shaken yet calmly saying like, oh, there's been a suicide.
It was a fake assassin crew. They just keep siphoning money out of people and say, we'll do it later.
That's what it seems like, but then there's also neighbors that witness these 2 vehicles that just skid off from the property around the same time that she was killed, and so maybe they did do the hit, but the point is they can link the murderer to him because of the cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Wow.
They do have FBI lurking the dark web all the time, though.
They also have a 9-year-old son, by the way.
Oh, and we really got to ask, like, I think the important question to ask is, what does she do? And what the fuck? How big of a bitch was she? Because you had to be a pretty big bitch to get killed by
I mean,
her.
I don't think that's the right question to be asking, bro.
is that it?
right, because if she is a big ass, like the biggest bitch ever, then
She should
cool,
die.
she deserves it. Come on.
Yes, come on, undo that face, because you know it's true.
No, it's not true.
There are not points where you looked at Case and you're like, I want to fucking murder you.
But I would never do it. No. I mean, no, and then they have a kid together. That's fucked up.
And what part of your brain is like, you know what, I can't go through with the shame of divorce.
That's when religion fucking goes wrong. Because he had like all this pressure of like, well, I'm an elder now, I have to do this.
Yeah,
And
I'm a
it's
leader in
like,
the church.
yeah, all this pressure being put down on him within his group, or probably through himself.
You know what? I know this now. I already know this is not a Korean church because Korean people wouldn't give a fuck.
Well, his name is Stephen Alwine.
Yep.
This is what he looked like.
Dang, he looks like a serial killer.
What
Yeah.
the fuck? That fool looks scary as shit.
For real. Holy shit.
You know, like Korean churches are so funny. You know, there's like one stereotype, like negative stereotype about Korean churches. There's always a story about the pastor marrying the piano girl and running away.
Oh, really?
Really?
What do you
Yeah.
mean? Like running away from the church?
Like having an affair with the piano girl and then leaving his wife and leaving the church. I've known I could name already 3 or 4 churches that had that situation happen.
It's those sexy piano bitches, man.
I thought the stereotype was Korean churches always split.
That's true too.
They do.
Let's make like a Korean church and split.
Or like the women in Korean churches always gossip.
Oh, that's just Korean
I think
people in
that's
general.
all churches, no?
That's true. Or women in Korean churches always try to hook their daughters up with your son or whatever.
That's all Asian people. That's all
That
Asian
is
people.
all Asian people. Yeah.
But though they call him the preacher, not a pastor, so
It's the same shit, isn't it?
I don't know.
I feel like any church that has the word elder is really fucking sketch. Like,
It just
those
means that
elders.
they're more organized.
oh, okay.
So there's different, I mean, there's churches where like they've been around for hundreds of years and then they have colleges, universities, hospitals, and then they have a whole structure and they run it like a company.
Oh.
But then I think David's dad is like an independent, right? So it's almost like having one store. That's your church.
Oh.
So like Presbyterian churches have elders, and so they're just a board and committee. So whatever money comes to the church, they all have to decide collectively where it goes within the church. So it's actually really, really smart. Instead of having a pastor decide everything.
Yep.
So even the pastor doesn't have much choice either. So if the pastor wants to do something, they have to go to the elders to ask them through funding what they can do.
Yeah, they have treasurers, they have deacons, and different. There's different titles,
It's just
but it's
complicated.
ran more like a democratic government than a church with a pastor who's the dictator. Yeah, or preacher or whatever. Yeah.
How many years did they sentence him?
Well, he's just been charged at this point. They haven't sentenced him yet.
He looks like he'll do fine.
He's
in
on
prison.
trial.
Oh, yeah, right?